Manx Radio's 1 to 3, tended by Ramsey Garden Centre.
Right, something a bit special now. I'm sure you have all been hearing about this fabulous new product from our pals at Fynoderee Distillery, the Refuge Rum. Delighted to have Tiffany Kerruish with us. Tiff, this is such an achievement. I mean, you've brought in this bottle, which is beautifully presented in its very own little... what do you... It's a crate in a way, isn't it? But a beautifully
it's like a
designed
crate box. It's a very bespoke, solid wooden box that's been exquisitely put together just to carry this very, very special bottle.
And we say very, very special. I mean, the fact you even came up with this idea in the first place is sort of beyond me. And I suppose that's kind of where I want to start, because it is an incredibly special product. But how did this idea come about of actually having the rum kind of mature on the Tower of Refuge?
Well, we have to go back a couple of years to just a fluke conversation in Parliament Street in Ramsey, which is, of course, where we are up in the north, with Jane Houston-Owen, who's a very long-term fundraiser for the RNLI on the Isle of Man, particularly up in Ramsey. And she had a chat with me and said, oh, did you know that the RNLI is going to be 200 years in 18 months' time, and wouldn't it be nice to do something together to celebrate? And we sort of went away from that, and we pondered, and then we really started thinking about the significance of this and the fact that the RNLI was founded right here on the Isle of Man, and it was going to have its bicentenary, 200 years since Sir William Hillary founded the charity right here on the Isle of Man. And we thought, well, yeah, let's do something. Let's absolutely use this as an opportunity to shine a light on the Manx origins of the charity. And having gone from Station 1, which is Douglas, to now sort of 287, I think it is, lifeboat stations dotted all around the coastline of the British Isles. So we went away and we sort of came up with some ideas, and we wanted to do something in the short term to get the ball rolling for the build-up of the celebration. So we decided to bring out a gin. We're well known for our gins. So we thought we'd bring out an RNLI gin with part of the proceeds of that going to the charity. But then the main emphasis was going to be this idea, I think I'll have to credit Paul with the idea, of taking the rum that we make in Ramsey, barrelling it and taking it out to the Tower of Refuge and leaving it there for an entire year to barrel age, to mature. And the reason we wanted to do that was because the Tower of Refuge, listeners will probably be well aware of the significance of the Tower of Refuge, but it was built by Sir William Hillary, and it stands there as this lasting monument to the incredible man that founded the charity. So we wanted to bring that into the storytelling and to really bring that focus to the bicentenary, and we've been working with the RNLI in the British Isles and down in Poole and in Wales, and really getting that story across that the charity was founded here. So yeah, the idea started in Ramsey, and then it grew legs and it just got bigger and bigger, and we were really, really surprised when we went out for an initial recce to go and see inside the tower to see whether it would even be possible. We didn't know from the beginning, and we were quite surprised. There was good enough space there to take out about 11 casks and leave them there for the duration of the bicentennial year.
And of course, that is those 11 casks, and that's it. So it's an incredibly special...
It's very special, very limited, never to be repeated. So these casks are now... Back at the distillery. We have managed to take them back off the rock, off Conister Rock, and they are being bottled as we speak. So the rum is all being bottled. We're just waiting for the beautiful boxes to arrive from the manufacturer, and they will then be getting sent out from the end of this month.
Now, that is so exciting in itself. But, I mean, let's just kind of rewind a little bit here, because the practicalities of this, it must have been the most incredible operation, because you're talking about putting the rum out there on a little island. It's not easy to access.
So, and to make matters worse, we decided to make it even more complicated for ourselves, because we like to do that at Fynoderee. And so we had the logistics of getting them out there, but we also saw this as a real opportunity to promote the island to people that would be looking at the Isle of Man during this special time for the charity. So we thought we would use it as a way of showcasing some of the heritage transport that we have. We realised that the Fynoderee Distillery, which is right at the end of the MER line, is almost connected to the Tower of Refuge by the heritage railway system. So when we created our rum and our casks, we actually loaded them onto the MER at Ramsey. We took them all across the MER down to Derby Castle, and then we transported them onto the horse tram, and the horse tram then pulled it all the way along to the War Memorial, and there's a slipway there by the War Memorial where at very low tide it is possible to get a tractor out to the tower. So out we went it was the last equinox tide of the year, and we managed to get out there. Now, if anyone's thinking a full cask of rum is incredibly heavy, and how on earth would you get that up the stairs and into the Tower of Refuge, especially across all the slippery stones and everything? Well, the secret was, of course, that we would take the barrels empty, and then we transported the rum separately in smaller containers, and then there was a great big production of filling the casks actually in situ. So that all had to be done a race against time before the tide would then come in, and we would have to get everybody off and the tractor off, because it really would have been quite embarrassing to call the RNLI. So yeah,
that is incredible. Yeah. I mean, like you said, you didn't make it very easy for yourselves, did you? But then also the fact that you sort of then leaving it out there to the elements and the extreme conditions.
Now we were lucky in that there is what we called cask cam. So there is some CCTV that is set up inside the tower, and we were able to periodically go and have a look at that just to make sure that nothing terrible had happened. But of course, we left it there for a year, and during that period there were the most unreal storms. I mean, they got an absolute lashing, these casks, and the tower, it's well built, it's Manx stone, but it's quite permeable, let's say, and so the casks have been well and truly aired out there, and they have absorbed the atmosphere, that sort of maritime influence, which was very much by design. We wanted that to happen. We wanted them to sit there and really absorb the atmosphere and the environment of being out on Conister Rock in this historic location, and it's fair to say that they definitely did. So yeah,
well, hold that thought, because we're going to talk more to Tiffany in just a few minutes, and we're going to find out what it tastes like. She's going to tell us all about it in a few minutes. But I said, what would you like to hear musically? Now, I know you're very much part of the Manx scene over here as well, aren't you? Speak a bit of Manx now.
I'm learning, yes.
Yeah, me too. And you play as well. So, and you sometimes have sessions at Fynoderee, don't you? Really supportive of the scene. And you happen to know the people I was talking about before. I said I had guests in the live lounge on Saturday evening, Elizabeth and Daniel. Well, let's put that on, and then we'll talk more to Tiff from Fynoderee after this. So if you have any questions for her, 166 177. But you're going to hear Elizabeth now. This is from the live lounge on Saturday. Yeah, good trad tune in here as well. But then is there some original too in here?
So we start out with an Irish tune, Patsy Hanley's, and then go into one of my tunes, The Grave, and then end with a nice banger, Unisaxophona.
And just listen to the way this develops, because when you do start adding in all of those other instruments, it does become an entirely different beast. A beautiful beast, I should say. So this is Elizabeth Davison Blythe and Daniel Quayle, Revival of the Fittest. Isn't that brilliant? That was Elizabeth Davison Blythe and Daniel Quayle. That was their new single, actually. That is a revival of The Fittest, which is out now. And they're in the Live Lounge on Saturday, so you can go back and listen again. There is, as usual, a podcast for you to find. But here on 1 to 3, we're chatting with Tiffany Kerruish from Fynoderee Distillery, finding out all about this incredibly special product, the Refuge Manx Rum, which, as we've just been finding out, was left on the Tower of Refuge to mature. And we were talking about the extreme conditions and the fact that the tower was battered by storms while the casks were out there. I mean, you must have been beside yourself worrying about it.
There were a few days, I must admit, where we were a little bit worried that there might be some barrels sort of washed up on Douglas Beach, but
they survived.
They survived.
It's
they
a well-built tower.
Intact.
Yeah. And so then, of course, you had to try and get it back.
We had to get it back.
So, and that was quite
actually,
the deal.
We had to do a couple of trips out just to check on it as well. So, and we wanted to test how it was developing and just to make sure that everything was fine. So we did that a couple of times, and then then it was the operation get it off the tower. So that was again an interesting one. We had a couple of failed attempts. Actually, we were a bit unlucky with the weather getting it off, but we prevailed in the end and safely back in Ramsey now. But there was a rather nifty tractor crossing to get it all back ashore. So
the lengths you have gone to, but it is a beautiful thing as well. So you've got a bottle here. So if you just hold it up for us, and then because there will be a video of this after, so we will of course share the video so you can see it. But just while you're holding it up, just tell us a little bit then, what does it actually taste like?
Well, let me open the box here. It's held together by a magnet, and if we open up this lovely box, you'll see we've got the beautiful label just glinting out there. Again, we've worked with the unbelievably talented Julia Ashby-Smith on this label, and also the design of the logo and the box. So Julia has really gone to town this time on creating an absolutely exquisite piece of artwork here that has been and then digitised by 572, the agency that we work with, who are in Onken, and we've gone to town on all of the different types of embellishments possible on a label. So we've got glinty bits, we've got reflective bits, and it's absolutely beautiful which way you turn. You'll see that the rum that went into the barrel clear, because all rum comes off the still clear when it is first made, has taken on beautiful colour. So we would describe this as an amber rum, a sort of light golden rum. All that colour is natural. It has all been absorbed from the barrel itself. So we use bourbon casks, very premium casks, first fill. So they've taken on the flavour of the bourbon that was in them originally. They've got a lovely note of toasted oak, there's vanilla, and the very unique thing about this particular product, this Manx Refuge rum, is that I was talking about the atmosphere that the casks had been in, and it has imparted this tiny little salted caramel note, which is just amazing. So for people who like rum, this is going to blow their minds. For people that don't know whether they like rum, this might completely turn them into rum fans.
Well, I have to say, because I'm a bourbon fan and also an old-fashioned fan, and so you mentioned that it works really well as an old-fashioned.
It's the most amazing Refuge rum Manx old-fashioned. So, in fact, so good that we've included it in the little souvenir booklet that comes with the box. So the booklet sits there, as you can see, and the booklet actually details this amazing story of taking it out there, and also the history of the RNLI and the connection to the Isle of Man. So it creates a lovely souvenir package then with the bottle, the box and the little leaflet.
And as you're saying, of course, the point of this basically is to raise funds for the RNLI. So every bottle that's sold, 20% goes to the RNLI.
20% goes directly to the charity. So this is going to add to the already over £10,000 that we've already collected through the sales of the rum. So this is supercharging, and this is really going to make a difference. And it's, having met the crew in Ramsey and in Douglas and from the other 5 stations that we have on the Isle of Man, it's truly inspiring what they do and the bravery that goes into launching that lifeboat each time they get a call out. So the money that is raised just goes into supporting that. And that's a wonderful thing to do and to get behind.
Okay, so what people want to know, I've had several messages in from people saying, where can you get it? How much is it? So let's let people know then, because I mean, there's only, as we said, a very limited number of bottles. So if people want to get their hands on them, they need to get them as quick as they can, don't they?
Yes. We've kept our promotions quite local recently, really because we had to launch our Bottle 1. Now, Bottle 1 went for quite an amazing price at the RNLI Gala dinner. So it was £1,235, I think it was, just under £1,300. So the good news is that it's nowhere near that price to buy it from our website. So we are selling it for £125, and £25 of that will go directly to the charity to support their life-saving work. And it's free postage at the moment from Fynoderee.com on all of our products. So this included. Next week we have some promotion going out nationwide with their Lifeboat magazine. So we just want the Isle of Man to make sure that they get their hands on it first. So
you better be quick
yeah.
then. Do you know what? It's going to be a really tough call as to whether or not you hold on to it and don't open it, because it's clearly going to raise in value over the years.
Yes.
But it sounds like it tastes amazing. So I think I'd really struggle to keep that bottle stopper in there.
I know it's going to be a bit of a challenge, maybe a buy one, keep one.
Yeah, let's do that then.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Well, seriously, serious congratulations for achieving this, because the effort that has gone in, this must be the most effort anyone's put into making a bottle of
I would say they
spirit.
probably have, yes. It's been off the charts, really, the effort that has gone into it and the amount of time that has gone into the logistics, the planning, the organising, the sourcing the materials. You know, we use panela to make our rum, which is an organic cane sugar that we get from a sustainable fair trade farm in Colombia. So everything right down to the finest detail is really kind of looked into and done to the very, very best of our ability and our sourcing. You know, we're very much an ethical brand, so everything that we do, we try to make sure it fits with our biosphere credentials. So nothing is left to chance, let's put it that way.
Special doesn't even cover it. You will be very lucky if you do manage to get your hands on one of these bottles. Highly recommend it. As ever, Tiffany, fascinating talking to you and especially finding out about this wonderful product. All the very best, and I hope you raise many, many more thousands, which I'm sure you will with this wonderful thing.
Thanks, Christy. And just before I go, a big thank you to everybody that has helped us with this product, because we have had an awful lot of local assistance. So massive stand by to you all. Thank you.
The Fynoderee Distillery are proud to bring you Refuge Manx Rum, our new fundraising spirit for the RNLI. Aged for a year within the Tower of Refuge, our Manx-made rum is a delicious celebration of 200 years of the RNLI, formed right here on the Isle of Man by Sir William Hillary. Capturing notes of sea salt, caramel, vanilla and bourbon, it's the perfect tot for raising a toast to all those who save lives at sea. Order Refuge Manx Rum today from Fynoderee.com.
Manx Radio's 1 to 3, tended by Ramsey Garden Centre.